Hello everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of themoviewizard.com, and yes, there is a reason my head is so low to the bottom of the screen instead of being more up here. You'll see why in a moment. But let's talk about the main topic today, which was the Directors Guild of America Awards. Now, I don't know if you've been watching the Oscar race. I'll give you a little bit of backstory how it usually works. Before the Oscars come out, there are other guilds that have very similar membership overlap with the Academy's memberships, and so guilds will start handing out their awards. And the more they hand out, the more you can usually figure out where the race is heading. In fact, most of the time the guilds agree on everything, which means that come Oscar night, it's pretty straightforward who's going to win the big prize that night. In fact, it's been so predictable that the last 7 or 8 years, I think, whatever the Producers Guild of America has chosen for their best film of the year has won everything. It's, first of all, the two most unconventional Oscar movies, which was The Revenant and Mad Max Fury Road, got way more Oscar nominations than safe bets like Spotlight and Room did, although those were certainly no slouch. And then, once the Producers Guild announced their award, we all thought it was over. They announced The Big Short was the winner, which makes sense. It would make sense why the industry would want to go after this award, because it's based on a true story. That's a plus. It's got several actors who are really good in their roles, which is another plus. It's about an important, time-sensitive issue, in this case, the collapse of Wall Street and the economy and the housing market, and how it could happen again. Very important. So, even though no one was predicting The Big Short to win everything and win Oscar, once the PGA announced that they had given their award for Best Picture, or Best Producer of the Year, whatever the heck it is, to The Big Short, well, it was like, I didn't see it coming, but makes sense. Makes total sense. Then the SAG Awards came out, because The Big Short also has, like I said, great acting, great ensemble cast. It would have not been unlikely for it to win. Spotlight took it, though. Now, we kind of started playing this game at this point because, well, what does this mean? Does it mean anything? And at first I was thinking yes, and then I was thinking, well, no, because they added a bunch of new members who had started their careers and maybe still had some of their careers in journalism. Spotlight is about journalism and how important it can be and how important it is when it's done right. So it was like, and you know what, here's the thing, Spotlight and The Big Short both fit Academy mold. So I was thinking like, it's still probably going to be The Big Short. Who knows at this point? But it's probably The Big Short. The Directors Guild of America, I felt, would let us know one of these two was going to win. Would it be The Big Short, or would it be Spotlight? I was hoping more for Spotlight, because I thought that was a better movie, but who knew? And Alejandro Iñárritu won Best Director for The Revenant. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oscar race is completely wide open at this point. The only thing that could probably help us figure this out a little bit is the Writers Guild of America Award. And the only reason that's not taken as seriously as these other three is because they have original and adapted screenplay, and that doesn't really help when you have strong contenders in both categories, which, this is the case. But yeah, the Oscar race is wide open. So, here's the thing. A lot of people, myself, including myself to a certain extent, felt that George Miller might win for Mad Max Fury Road. Because, great directing and all that. But it was Alejandro Iñárritu who won last year for this award as well, for Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. So let's, I've got my notes here, so pay no attention. Who are the Best Director nominees for the Academy Awards? Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Iñárritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abrahamson for Room, and Todd McCarthy for Spotlight. So, those are the 5 director nominees. Who's gonna win? Well, here's the thing. Since this is an all-open race, and no one's just giving one movie all the awards they feel that's the best, I think we can knock out Adam McKay and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, because their movies, while well-directed, don't have the visual powerhouse as the other 3 movies that are nominated. So, now that we're down to these 3, Iñárritu seems like he would have the upper hand. However, he also won Best Director last year for Birdman. And here's the thing about the Academy, in case you don't know. Unless you're a sound editor or cinematographer, they don't like giving repeat awards consecutively. They just really don't. It happens so rarely. I don't even think anyone has won 2 Best Director awards consecutively at the Academy Awards, and this includes John Ford, who won 3 in total. So, even though Iñárritu has won the DGA, I'm going to be a little risky, and I'm going to say he's off the table. So that leaves George Miller and Lenny Abrahamson. Now, of the 2, Miller seems to be the obvious choice, because Mad Max is such a well-directed film and a visual virtuoso. However, the direction in Room is very good. He had to actually film most of the movie in a very confined space and make it visually interesting, and he managed to do that. And the fact that he got nominated at all when no one else was nominating him shows just how much love he has in the Academy. However, again, it's a small film compared to Miller's big film. And if the director and the picture don't match, because some people have won Best Director for directing movies that, frankly, I think anyone could have made. And I don't want to pick on anyone per se, but Delbert Mann won Best Director for Marty, and Tom Hooper won Best Director for The King's Speech. Both very good movies, not knocking them. However, when you watch those movies, there's nothing visually interesting about either of them. Anyone could have made them. So yeah. And in the case of Room, I don't know if anyone could have just made Room. I really don't. Because I do think the Academy had it right. It takes a very specific skill and eye to see, how to make this limited movie, in a way, grand. And he found a way to do it. However, George Miller also, he was just, you look at that and it's you can see the director working overtime. That's a movie that, whereas Room, it's a maybe anyone could have directed, but maybe not. Mad Max Fury Road is a movie that end result could only have come from George Miller. So, even though Iñárritu won the DGA tonight, and because it's dangerous to go against stats, and my hunches aren't always correct, if you're betting in an Oscar pool, you might want to put some money on him. But I'm still thinking George Miller is going to win the Best Director at the Oscars. Another reason is that George Miller, with the exception of Happy Feet, has not won a real Oscar in the Academy's eyes, and he's been in the industry for a long time. And that can go a long way for you in your Oscar narrative. And there's been some pretty big upsets where it's well, why did that person win when this was clearly better? Well, that person was in the industry this many years, never won before, they felt this was their chance. So, my personal prediction is George Miller. But, what do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.